very welcome to the library. I worked here about 20 some years ago in the mall, and my name is Joyce Coffman. And I always say learning is fun, and there's a lot of tidbits here that young people can get because a lot of people kind of have forgotten Langston Hughes. And this is what we're going to talk about today. Um, that world's best kept secret, because he started writing while he was in high school. And he was born James Mercer, but he added Langston Hughes to it. I guess he put both parents' last name. The parents separated, divorced at an early age, and Langston was raised by his grandmother. And some of the things that he says in his poems, children can understand it. It's in a breakdown, simple message that he gives. My favorite poem is A Dream Deferred, because first he talked about a dream, and that when it's broken, it's like a broken winged bird. But the one that I was stuck on was A Dream Deferred, and I think he was just about ready to give up. His schooling consisted of his father wanted him to be an engineer. His father lived in Mexico, and I moved to Mexico, and was not happy with the African Americans around the country. He wanted to move forward, so he went to Mexico. It's not very much talking about his mother, but what I've read, he had a very strained relationship because she was in and out of his life. He went to school like his father wanted him to. He majored in engineering. That's what his father wanted him to do. And he met a friend there, Thurgood Marshall. I don't know if Thurgood finished at Columbia. I know he did University of Maryland, but Langston left because he said it was just too racist. And he traveled around the world. He went to his father in Mexico, Asia, everywhere. And Africa, he loved all the different cultures. And if you read his poems, you can see that. And then he went back to college at Lincoln University at 24 years old, and he finished. He wrote for a newspaper. He's not on the rank of other people, but a lot of people loved his poems, and he had benefactors, and they were usually of the Caucasian race, but African Americans didn't like his poems. He talked in dialect, and that was your talented 10, and they wanted everything to be beautiful. I'm upward bound, but he identified with the working class because you think about it, he was a truck driver. He was a doorman at a hotel in New York. He did a little bit of everything. So he identified with the working class even when he was considered one of the talented 10s that finished college. And he was getting fed up because the people didn't want to move forward. And that was the purpose of The Dream Deferred. And when he was so graphic, was it a grape? And then it just dried up into a raisin. He said, if you do not do your dreams, then you leave empty. And that was a very focal point. Now, he didn't know that when he died at the age of 65 with pancreatic cancer, that there was a dreamer on the scene. And he gave up too quick. But they said he fought to the end to try to enlighten people, and that was Martin Luther King. And he had a dream, and he fulfilled his dream, but Langston didn't realize that he was one of the foundations because he was in that group with the 1920s Harlem Renaissance, and that was something new. And then it faded out, and McCarthy, because he talked about, I guess they thought he liked communism, and he was questioned by McCarthy. He had a lot of ups and downs, but those poems are just really beautiful, and we have them here in the children's version. When I first came to Alabama, the library was my home. I never knew I was going to work for it. But it's still my home. I brought many children here to sign up for a card, but because of the pandemic, I haven't been able to do that. But the most important thing is I tell children, I can go all around the world just by reading. I don't have to spend the money, but I put myself in those places. And if anyone read The Dream Deferred and I Too Am America, I'm Your Darker Brother, Life for Me Ain't Been No Crystal Stairs, it has a story in a very few words. And I really love Just Be Simple. And they shortened the word to SIMPE, but he had SEMPLE. So I'm going to play with the words like he did. Instead of saying African American, I'm going to say Americans of African descent. Thank you, Langston.